being in a delivery room, and then moments later, handing a child over is when, I mean, you're all about family.
Mm-hmm.
Just shouldn't have to do it, but we had to do it. So we had to get through it. We had to celebrate it. He was beautiful, and that's what we did.
Oh my goodness, you're a cutie pie.
Just a half an hour after Logan was born, Sean handed him to his parents.
It was the most exciting moment of my life. I mean, that moment, I don't think anything could ever compare to that, ever.
Everyone started crying.
There he is, right there. And I could touch him and
There he
see your
was,
child for the
the
first
real
time, like that first moment of bonding.
Do you remember what Sean was doing?
Oh, he started crying too.
Coming down.
We all were crying.
I kept thinking, hopefully they know. It's like, how do you let someone know how much you appreciate what they did?
It was almost like a split screen where you had, you know, your own personal loss that you had to deal with, but at the same time there was a celebration. And so I had to figure out a way from going from that complete, utter despair and loss and suffering to inviting this gift into it, and to balance those two.
Sean left and you two were alone with a baby.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It was just a serene moment at that point, knowing that,
He was just
wow,
tiny.
it's gonna work out. We were just so grateful. We felt so lucky.
The next day, Carolyn and Sean signed papers giving custody of Logan to Shannon and Paul. And later that day, before they went home, the Morells brought Logan back to the Savages. Carolyn and Sean spent time alone with the baby boy they would have loved to call their son.
He had his little head tucked up under my chin, and he was just all snuggled up, and he was asleep. And that, to me, was the way you should feel after a baby's born. And when that gets taken away, it was like he grabbed a piece of my heart and just left with it.
Leaving you with what?
Wow.
I think leaving us knowing that we did the right thing, that he was healthy. It was kind of a sad moment. I think it's when the loss kind of crashed on us, and we knew we needed to kind of move forward from there.
They were moving forward. Their own baby was on the way and helped ease the loss of Logan. But just 1 week later, Carolyn and Sean's dream of a fourth child was shattered by a phone call.
And I picked it up, and it was my surrogate on the other line, sobbing. I mean, she was hysterical, couldn't breathe, and I knew immediately.
2.5 months into the pregnancy, Jennifer, their surrogate, had miscarried. The news left Carolyn and Sean numb. In their minds, they'd lost 2 babies in 8 days.
I couldn't breathe. All the oxygen out of my lungs, and I know I fell to my knees, and I'm kind of looking up at the heavens going, seriously? Have we not done enough? This too?
Did a part of you, Carolyn, wish you hadn't even started that process?
No, I don't have any regrets about doing it. It didn't matter when it would have happened, it just would have slammed us as hard. A part of me thought immediately, okay, we still have 2 more embryos.
And with Jennifer as their surrogate, they tried again last January using those 2 remaining embryos. Jennifer did not become pregnant. Unwilling to give up, Carolyn and Sean created a new embryo, which was transferred into Jennifer last summer. Still, no success.
Does any part of you think that this need for another baby is trying to fill a void left by Logan?
Sure.
There is no way to fill that void. I mean, there is no makeup baby. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's a way of fulfilling the what ifs. What if Mary Kate had a little brother, a little sister closer in age? What if things had worked out differently?
But there's something to be said about you have 3 healthy children.
Yep,
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had that discussions many times. So we're very blessed. We're very thankful.
We're to a point now where if we don't have any more children, I think we're good. We're good.
It is almost 2 years to the day since Carolyn and Sean received that stunning news. They are still healing, they say, and part of that process has been writing a book. It's called Inconceivable.
We talk about our darker moments, and there were a lot of them. And I don't want people to think I could never do something like that. Yeah, you can. Everybody can. It's just how hard are you willing to push yourself? Sean talks about marching through this. It was like marching through something. And there were days where I didn't want to. But
Still haven't come out the other end.
nope.
No, we're in process.
Both couples have now reached settlements with the clinic. As part of theirs, Carolyn and Sean insisted on learning how the mistake was made and how it was discovered.
The mix-up started with a name, right?
Shannon had not changed her name at the time of her original IVF.
At the time Shannon's embryos were created, she was still using her maiden name, which of all names happens to be Savage. That meant the sheet of paper identifying her embryos had the name Shannon Savage.
And that sheet was used to pull the embryos, and it was placed in a file with our paperwork.
But it took a completely unrelated error at the clinic for this colossal one to be discovered. An alert employee there noticed a mistake in Carolyn's birth date. She was born in 1969, not 1967. So that employee took a closer look at the Savage's file.
That person noticed a discrepancy on my labels and on my wristband and the information in the computer. So that person found Shannon Savage's embryo data sheet in my file.
Still, a healthy, happy, very loved baby boy was the result of all this. A little boy named Logan Savage Morell, named in part, his parents say, as a tribute to the couple who took care of him before he came into this world. And at Christmas time 2009, the Savages received a special treat. Shannon and Paul brought 3-month-old Logan for a visit. Carolyn and Sean hadn't seen him since he was born.
Oh, it was awesome. You got to see him part of a family that he was certainly loved and adored.
The two families spent all day together at Sean and Carolyn's home. Then it was time to say goodbye to Logan yet again. But this goodbye was much different than in the hospital.
After they left, it was almost like we got the gas tank filled up a little bit. And it wasn't at all as though we were losing him or anything again.
It was such a reassuring moment.
Did it help you turn a corner in terms of coping with
Yes,
letting go?
for sure.
Yeah.
We gave a gift.
Ah, the dog's over there.
And the gift was received and is very much appreciated. He is incredibly loved by his mom and dad. And, you know, that's awesome.
What role do you think that Carolyn and Sean are going to play in Logan's life?
I just always want him to know them, and that we'll get together maybe a couple times a year.
What are you going to tell Logan when he's old enough about his birth and about these people that were part of his life, that will be a part of his life, obviously?
Well, I just think that it's important that he realizes that she protected him for 9 months, and I just want him to think my birth was a blessing. You know, and I need to go out and do good things here. There were people that did good things for me before I even made it to this world. Put your arm in.
And when he's old enough, Shannon would like Logan to thank the woman who gave him life.
I think he should. He should, because he should say thank you on his own.
The most important thing for me is that when Logan grows up, I want him to know that he was never a burden. He's not a mistake. He's very purposeful. And even though it's very hard, we want him to know that his life is a gift.
He'll always be my baby. He will. He'll be their baby too. He's just got more people that love him than most babies that come into the world.